There we go. So what I've got is I've got a few quick slides to show you, and then over here I've got a demo case that I can swap my webcam to, and I can show you this happening live. So as I said, what we're going to look at today is hysteresis. So we're going to look at what hysteresis is, what it means, what it's for, and how we can use it in Loxone config. So if I move over to the next slide, that picture in a nutshell pretty much shows you what hysteresis is. Essentially, what hysteresis does is it's for the control of a digital output. But what we're doing is we're in essence delaying when we turn that digital output on or off based on a few desired outcomes. Now, to put this into the real world, what we have here on this picture is we have a heater. Now, this heater is digital. We can turn it on and we can turn it off. No more, no less. But while the heater itself is digital, the effect that it has on the world is analog. And that is that it's heating a space up, because a space is never hot or cold, it's a specific temperature. And so if we want to hit a desired temperature threshold, we can use hysteresis. Because of course, if we say that we only want to have one desired set temperature with no upper or lower threshold, then what's going to happen is every time that heater hits the desired temperature, it's going to turn off. And as soon as it goes below that desired temperature, it's going to turn back on again. Now, this presents us with a couple of very, very big problems. The first of this is that this heater is therefore going to be turning on and off very rapidly, short cycling. Now, what that can do essentially is, firstly, it's very, very bad for the heater or for whatever kind of system we're controlling. Generally, turning something on and off too quickly is bad for it and affects its lifespan. The second problem with doing that is it's usually not that efficient either. This heater probably will have to be on for a specific period of time to actually have any real effect on the world around it. So essentially, this is what hysteresis allows us to do. If we're saying that we have a particular target that we want to hit, we can set an upper and a lower threshold from that target that delays when the output will switch on and off. And we can see that in this graph here. We have the heater switching on, and it waits until it gets that upper threshold of the hysteresis before the heater switches off, and then it waits before it gets to the lower threshold before the hysteresis switches back on again. Now, there are many, many things that we use hysteresis for in the real world that I'll come on to in the next slide. But as you can see, hysteresis provides a very simple means of control. So where do we see hysteresis in the real world outside of control systems? Well, the most common place is in one of these. Your ordinary heating thermostat on the wall uses hysteresis for control. So what it's doing is, as we can see there, looks like it's currently set to 21 degrees. What that really means is that probably has an inbuilt hysteresis of maybe +1, -1. So what it's essentially doing is it waits until it gets to the lower threshold, so 20 degrees, before it turns the heating source on, and it waits till it gets to the higher threshold, 22 degrees, before it would turn the heating element back off again. This is to make our boiler in a normal house run more efficiently. Other places where you'll commonly see hysteresis include things like pool or float level control. So if you've got something like a pool or a liquid tank or a pond, you could use hysteresis with an upper and lower threshold to decide at what time you want to refill that. You can also see it on things like ovens as well. So your your temperature on your oven with a twisty knob, that'll be using something like hysteresis. Now, what I've got a very specific example of hysteresis that I would like us to look at and then to configure from that. And what I would like us to look at today is thermal control. So what we have is a thermal that we want to keep between 40 and 50 degrees Celsius. The reason for that is our perfect temperature for providing water out to something like underfloor heating. Now, this tank has a temperature sensor in it so that we know exactly what temperature the tank is at. And then we have an immersion heater in the tank, which is digital, that we want to control. So as I said, the best use of hysteresis is when you've got something that's digital that you need to control that has an analog effect on the world. Brilliant. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to swap my camera over so that instead of seeing my lovely face, you are seeing my demo case instead. There we go. So you should now be over my demo case. And what I can do throughout this video is I can actually switch between having the demo case nice and big on the screen so you can see that when we need that, and between my screen when we're doing things on config. So what I'm going to go to is I'm just going to switch over to my config file that I've got ready, and I've already connected into this mini server, and we're going to start programming this hysteresis. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am actually going to, on the new page, just change that to buffer temperature to control, just so that I know what it is and what it does. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use my analog input 1 on my demo case for the buffer tank temperature. So that is going to be my temperature sensor. The reason why is that analog input 1 on the demo case is actually this potentiometer here. So I can use that to actually change values in real life. Now, something else I have to do with an analog input is I have to actually set correction values. Now, what this means, and what we will have by default on an analog input, is an input value of 0, target value of 0, input value 2 of 10, target value 2 of 10. Now, what this means is that the analog input is 0 to 10 volts. So if it receives 0 volts, it outputs that as a 0. If it receives 10 volts, it outputs that as a 10. Now, this doesn't work for a temperature sensor because a temperature sensor doesn't read 0 to 10 degrees C. So what we actually need to do is we need to correct this. So we probably want to say something along the lines of, let's say that this sensor reads between 0 and 100 degrees C. Let's keep it nice and simple. So 0 volts would mean 0 degrees C, and 10 volts would mean 100 degrees C. And so that's our correction. The other thing I can do on an analog input is set validation. Now, if I tick this box here for validation, what that means is that I can actually set minimum and maximum values that this temperature sensor can go to so it never goes out of range. And I can also set a default value. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say the minimum value is 0 degrees and the maximum value is 100 degrees. And then I'm going to say that the default value is 80 degrees. And so what this means is that if this sensor stops communicating for whatever reason, and I can actually say the timeout within which it will stop communicating, so I can say it has to be 10 seconds without an update, it will default to this value. Now, this is brilliant because if for whatever reason this temperature sensor were to develop a problem, and I am doing something like a hot water tank, I can make that default value above the level that would turn the immersion heater on. That means that in real life, I'd probably prefer to have cold water in a storage tank than overheat the water in there and potentially cause damage to something. So I'm now going to drag this out now that I've set correction and validation. And I'm going to show you how we can program hysteresis from bare bones. So what we can do is what we're saying is with hysteresis, we have an upper threshold and a lower threshold. So if we start with the upper threshold, we want to say that when the temperature goes above 50, turn it off. And there's a brilliant function block for that called greater than. So with a greater than function block, we can take that temperature sensor into the greater than block, and then we just need something to compare it against. Now, with certain function blocks where you are putting numbers in them for comparisons, you can actually set the comparison in the parameters of the block itself. So there we go. I can actually put 50 on the parameter of AI2. Or I could create myself a constant. So this would be my upper threshold with a value of 50. And then I can tie that into the greater than block. And then it comes up with a note letting me know that I can do it through parameters. That's fine. I'm going to do it as a constant. So there's my upper threshold sorted. The next bit is my lower threshold, 40 degrees. So if it drops below 40, I want it to turn the output on. So best block for that, less than block. So put a less than block on the page, put my temperature sensor in that again. And again, I'm going to want a constant, which is my lower threshold. And I'm going to set that to 40. and put that into the less than block. Now, that is my logic sorted. Those two Q outputs will go on when either of those blocks' particular reference is done. So if it goes greater than 50, Q will turn on the greater block. If it goes less than 40, Q will turn on the less than block. Now what I need to do is I need to turn that switching output, that latching output, into a pulse so that I'm only getting a single pulse to my system from it. The best way to do that is with an edge detection block. Because with an edge detection block, we can tie that output into there, and then this will provide us a pulse on the rising edge. So I actually want two edge detection blocks. There we go. So now I have that. I now need to actually switch an output on. So that particular output, as we said earlier, is going to be an immersion heater. So I'm just going to use a digital output for this. So there we go, immersion heater. Now, because I've changed this to a pulse, I need something that's going to change this immersion heater's state depending on whether it's greater than 50 or less than 40. The simplest and easy block to do this with would be a switch block. So with a switch block, I don't want to use TR as that's a single input for on and off. I want to use O and R instead. And I want to say that when it's greater than 50, that rising edge turns the immersion heater off. And when it's lower than 40, that falling edge turns the immersion heater on. And there we go. That is hysteresis control. If I just save that in, and bear with me 1 second, start live view, start moving this temperature sensor around, you'll see that the temperature starts to change. And when we get less than 40, as you can see, that less than block triggered, the immersion heater is now on. Rise it up a bit, I'm currently at 42, so I'm within that dead band that I've set, and as you can see, no effect is happening, but as soon as I get above 50, it turns the immersion heater back off again. Brilliant. Now that's one way of doing hysteresis control. The second way, because as with everything in Loxone config, there are always more than one way to do the same thing. We actually have a block called a two-position controller. Now in a two-position controller, we need to put our actual value into AI, and then into T, we need to put our midpoint, so our target. So if we're saying we want to keep it between 40 and 50, our midpoint is probably going to be 45. So midpoint, the value of 45 into T. And then on the parameters of the two-position controller, we can set the hysteresis. So we want to say 5 degrees above and 5 degrees below 45, so a hysteresis of 5. We then can take another relay, and I'm just going to name this immersion heater 2, and put that into the two-position controller. And then if I save that in again, and then when that's saved in Start Live View again, you'll be able to see that actually both of these do exactly the same thing. So Start Live View. There we go. So temperature up, so the immersion heater's on. And if I start bringing the temperature back down, when I drop below 40, there we go. Both those immersion heaters come on. Then rise up. I'm safely within that dead band, so nothing's happening. But as soon as I go above 50, immersion heaters back off. Brilliant, isn't it? So just to stick a couple of notes there to show what we've done. In this first bit, we have created logic from scratch to do this. And in the second bit, this two-position controller, we have a pre-made function block. Both of these are absolutely fine. Both of these work. I would always do this option because when you want to get a desired outcome with logic, you always want to find the simplest ways of doing it. Now, just before we finish the presentation, the video, if I just stop sharing my screen, just to show you this in real life now on my demo case, I've got my potentiometer here, so I'll be quite high temperature at the moment, and if I start dropping this down, when I get below 40, there we go. Both the immersion heaters have come on. I then start rising up, and as you can see, there's that little bit of a deadband area there, so the area within which it can happily sit. And then as you saw, I must have gone above 50. So deadband, above 50, back off again. And that is hysteresis control. So if I just switch the camera back to myself, there we go. I hope you enjoyed. We'll be carrying on this series and be doing many, many more videos on different things that you can do within Loxone that you can control various different systems with. So please stay tuned and hope to see you again next time. Thank you very much. Bye.